Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Thursday. It's Daryl here. It is bright and freaking early, man. It's 3 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Okay, the best way to tell you guys this is to give you a timeline of how I came about the idea for this video. I had a video all set to go this morning, and I feel like it's to me, I feel like it's an important video. It has to do with Generation Z young men and their anger and hopelessness and the way they feel, and just some thoughts on that. And I'm still going to download that video. I had it all set to go this morning, but I'm making this video instead. And I have to be very careful what I say in this video. I'm going to talk about something I'm going to talk about something that happened to me, and I'll give you the whole timeline and how it came about, the idea for this video. I woke up about 11 p.m. last night, and I haven't fallen back asleep since. I remembered something came back to the front of my mind, and it really bothered me when I came across the story. I woke up about 11 p.m. after I had fallen asleep last night, and I started looking through the news stories, and I'm going to tell you about the story. It's about an Oregon dad that was just recently arrested. He provided smoothies for his daughter's sleepover, and it turns out they were tainted with benzodiazepine, and it made the girls feel groggy. And he had bad things on his mind. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a second, about the story. As I was reading this, I got so infuriated. I actually started thinking, I was like, this guy, a lot of liberals, you can't pigeonhole liberals. Like there's some things that I agree with on the conservative side. I own guns. I've been shooting since I was probably 4 or 5 years old. Another thing that I agree with is the death penalty. As I was reading this story, I just got so enraged reading this story. I mean, I got so angry. I could feel my heart thumping in my chest, and my hands were all like shaking. And I was like, if I could just get a hold of this guy, I would do it myself. And I started thinking, why am I, this guy hasn't even been convicted yet. I am enraged, and I started thinking, and I swear to God, it took a while for everything to kind of fill into my mind. And the same thing happened to me. It was my mother's boyfriend, a cop, a policeman she was dating after my father passed away, that did something similar to me. And I swear to God, I think it was always in my mind. And it was in the back of my mind. It's not like all of a sudden I remembered it, like I had it was amnesia or something like that. I think it was always back there, but the details came back as the more and more. Okay, let me tell you about this story. This is in Oregon. Oregon dad, Lake Oswego. This happened back on August 26th of last year. It was his daughter had a sleepover, 12-year-old daughter. And I see, this is where I'm confused. It says 3 girls were drugged, and I'm not sure if it was the daughter, because it says the father got very upset when the daughter started trading smoothies. But it had to be the daughter included, because she couldn't be awake during this for his plan to succeed. So I'm assuming it was the daughter and her 2 friends, and he actually did this to his daughter too, which just, I don't know how much worse it could get. And his name is Michael Maiden. Like I said, he hasn't gone to trial for this yet. So, innocent until proven guilty, as they say. 57 years old, pretty much my age, doing this. He's got several counts. The article will be down below. He's got 3 counts of causing another to ingest controlled substance, 3 counts of providing controlled substance to a minor, and there's a couple other felony charges. And the girls talked about how he insisted, he kept injecting himself into the sleepover, making them feel uncomfortable. Like, a 12-year-old girl's having a sleepover, and they were giving each other facials, makeovers. And earlier in the night, he insisted that they all take a hot tub. Just creepy stuff, man. Creepy stuff. And he insists that they drink these mango-flavored smoothies. And he's very, very weird about it. In making, one of the girls said they didn't like mango, they didn't want to drink it. And he insisted, and then they started trading smoothies, and he got all upset about that. And it turns out one of these girls didn't drink enough to really have it affect her, and she faked being passed out. And she said how the father kept coming into the room and testing if they were asleep yet. He didn't. It sounds like he didn't actually get into doing anything to fulfilling his plan. I hope not. I pray that he was caught before his plan succeeded. And she says how he kept coming back into the room, like testing if they were, putting his finger under their nose, testing if they were asleep, or the girl's nose, testing if they were asleep or not. And when he left the room this one time, this girl that was pretending to be asleep called her parents, and she texted him saying, "You got to come pick me up now. If he says no, or if he argues, insist on coming, please come and get me." And this is at 3 a.m. She texts her parents while this guy's out of the room. She's pretending to be knocked out by these benzodiazepine, benzos, as we used to fondly call them. I had a problem with benzos when I've been clean and sober for 17 and a half years. Since October 23rd, 2006, I was a hardcore addict for over 2 decades of my life. And and this whole thing comes into a big circle. So, like I said, the article's down below. And the girl's parents came over, and the girl could hardly walk. They took her to the hospital. She was still having problems walking the next day. And they did the blood test, and it all came out. And so this guy is being charged with these felonies. He hasn't been convicted yet. As I was reading this, I was just enraged, man. I was like, I actually was thinking, if I could get a hold of this guy, I'll do this myself. I was having very angry thoughts, and I started, so I was like, I'm gonna talk about this. I'm gonna do a video about this. And all of a sudden, I don't know how it came about, but I thought back to myself when I was younger. And I've talked about this before. I'm not going to get too in depth, because whenever I do get in depth about everything and anything bad that a grown man could do to a young 11 to 14-year-old boy for 3 or 4 years, he did to me. And one of these, I had a memory that came back to me last night that I honestly didn't recall until last night. And I remember this one incident where my mother had to go to Maine. Her parents were sick, and she was dating this guy, this police officer. So she left me with me and my sister, actually. With my sister was very, very young, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years old, but it really, thank God, doesn't have anything to do with her. And actually, no, my mom took my sister, so it was just me in the house that night. And he was watching me. I think I was about 14 years old, and he said it was okay to have my friend over, my best friend all through high school. So this is the part I remember. I remember him letting us have alcohol, and I remember big liter bottles of vodka, and I remember just getting hammered. I remember being like falling down on the carpet and getting carpet burns, and just being hammered at 14 years old. And I didn't even remember this till last night when I was reading this story. Like I said, it must have been in the back of my mind. I started thinking about how my friend, we stopped talking, and I assumed it was because I started using drugs. We still don't talk now. I haven't talked to him in 20 years. He was my best friend in high school. And he just, like, he doesn't know me now. And then all of a sudden I remembered waking up that night, like we came to later, and I remember waking up in the bathtub with him without anything on. And I started thinking, geez, I wonder what happened that night. And I wasn't going to say this. I wasn't going to talk about this. I wonder if anything happened to him. And then all of a sudden I remembered being face down in my mother's bedroom in the dark and on the bed, and extremely bad pain at what he was doing. I was raped. It's not, I just remember this last night. I mean, I always knew this. It was always in my head, but I didn't remember this until I saw the story. I don't know if I just said that. I said, it was that night. I don't know if I just said last night. My hands are shaking right now. The thing I want to say is, when this happens, a lot of times, more times than not, it's a family friend. It's somebody you actually trust, like this guy, or the guy that was watching over me. You know, it's not a school librarian. It's not a transgender storyteller reader. You know, that's why I get so angry when I hear the word grooming from the right. It's like, you don't know what grooming is. I'll tell you what I'll tell you what grooming really is. What this guy did to me. All right, like I said, I'm sorry if this is it's an unplanned video. I'm gonna download the regular video. The story's down below. I'm just thankful that I have 17 and a half years sobriety right now. You know, that I can handle remembering this what happened to me. I don't know how I would have handled it before, you know, if I didn't have 17 and a half years of sobriety under my belt right now, because I am still so angry. My hands are shaking. And you know, I'm angry at this dad. I'm angry at everything right now. All right, I'll be back later. I'll have that video for you guys about Generation Z young men, and just some of my thoughts and how I felt similar. I felt very similar back when I was young, and how I'm happy today. That'll be the next video. I'm going to download that in about 4 hours, probably about 10 a.m. this morning. Thursday morning, I'll download that video. And I have a magic video for you guys, a short video. That's coming up this morning too. 3 videos this morning. All right, I'll see you soon. Have a good Thursday.